Hey there, restaurant pros. It's David Scott Peters, and welcome to the Restaurant Prosperity Formula podcast. For over 2 decades, I've been guiding restaurant owners to success with the proven principles of something I call the Restaurant Prosperity Formula. I originally created the formula based on the daily practices of the most successful restaurateurs I coached, and it's now the foundation of what I teach restaurant owners like you so you can achieve success. What do I mean by success? Success is a restaurant owner who dictates the terms of their life and their bank account instead of their restaurant dictating those things for them. Success is a restaurant owner who has freedom from their restaurant and the financial freedom they never thought possible. How you define success is up to you, but I do know the way to achieving it is using the Restaurant Prosperity Formula. This season, I'm diving even deeper into the core elements of the formula: leadership, systems, training, accountability, and taking action. Along with my insights, you'll hear from special guests, industry experts, and inspiring success stories from fellow restaurant owners who've turned their businesses around and found their definition of success. In this episode, number 125, we're tackling something that determines whether your guests ever come back: enhancing your customer experience. Let's get started, but first, a word from our sponsor. We all know managing costs is one of the most important parts of running a profitable restaurant, especially now. But between fluctuating vendor prices, waste, labor, and the never-ending list of tasks that demand your attention on a daily basis, it can be challenging for even the most experienced of us to manage costs well. That's where Margin Edge comes in. Margin Edge is a complete restaurant management software that automatically uses data from your POS and invoices to show you food and labor costs in real time. Don't wait until it's too late. Margin Edge gives you tools to make decisions in the moment, like a daily P&L, price alerts on key ingredients, and real-time plate costs, all without ever having to touch a spreadsheet. Take control of your costs, work more efficiently, and be more profitable. Go to www.marginedge.com/DSP to learn more and schedule your demo today. Let's be real. This business, well, it can be brutal. You're only as good as your guest's last visit. Not the one where they raved about your food. Not the one where they left a glowing Google review. No, it's the most recent experience that sticks in their mind, and that determines whether they're coming back. And right now, with fewer guests walking through your doors, tighter consumer spending, and more competition than ever, every visit has to count. You have to deliver something that goes beyond a good meal. You've got to deliver a memorable experience. Let's break this down, because if you're going to, compete today, you've got to dominate where it matters most: how your guests feel when they walk out your doors. Here we go. Pain point number 1. You ever hear yourself say, these kids today, they don't know how to talk to people? I hear it all the time. Yeah, we've all heard it. And let's be honest. The truth is, it's kind of frustrating. This generation grew up on screens, not face-to-face interactions. But here's where restaurant owners go wrong. They stop at the complaint and don't look for a fix. So what works? You don't need servers with Broadway charm. You need people who share your core values. People who are coachable, present, and willing to learn. That's your starting point. Hire for values, not just skills. Once you've got the right people, training becomes a breeze because they want to do well. They just need to be shown what great looks like, and that's a much easier thing to do. And let me say this very clearly. The problem isn't this generation. The problem is lazy hiring and no training systems. That means you. Fix that, and you'll be amazed at what your people can do. Let me tell you about 2 different restaurant owner perspectives. And this really came out on a group coaching call. I'm going to tell you right now, these are 2 of my top members having this conversation in front of the group. I get asked by one owner, why can't I find good people? It is so hard to find good people, and they just don't work out when I hire them. Versus another restaurant owner on the same call who said, they had to hire somebody for the first time in over 9 months because they left because they wanted to get health insurance, so changed industries. What is the major difference? I can't find anybody to, man, I haven't had to hire in 9 months. And the reality is this, that it starts with making sure that you are expressing your why. You've got to know your why. You've got to share your why. I tell you all the time, if you've been following me for any length of time, your why is why you went into business, why you do what you do. And you share that not only with your employees so that they can make the right decisions when they're in your business, which is helpful, but also for your vendors so they can bring you products and understand what you're looking for, your customers, that they feel like they belong and they understand that this is a place they belong. But your employees, when they know your why, they know the direction you're going. They can make decisions to get you there. But we add to that your core values. We document those core values. That becomes the rudder, putting them and making sure they stay on course. They will never make decisions that piss you off. Instead, there may be coaching opportunities because they missed the mark. Now, add to that becoming an employer of choice, making sure that you've got proper pay. You don't have to be the best or the highest in the marketplace, but you got to be competitive. You've got to have supervision and training. More importantly, you've got to make sure people feel like what they do is imperative to the restaurant's success, that they feel appreciated, that they have value. And when you become an employer of choice, you're going to have people clamoring and stacks of applications without ever having to ask, because your current employees tell people what a great place it is to work and they bring people to you. Your customers love your place and they bring people to you. And you've got these people ready, clamoring to be a part of your team because you're an employer of choice, versus just hiring the wrong people, hiring to fill a position, not having all the things in place. And it comes down to company culture. See, I don't believe that there's really a challenge in finding good people. I believe we can create good people. You need to focus on being an employer of choice, attracting the right people, and then hiring for desire, hiring for that personality and the core values. Because if those align, I can teach you to do anything. When your core values align with what we want to do in our business, you want to do well, you want to learn, you want to be a part of something bigger. How about pain point number 2? Every bad experience ends up on the internet. Now, that might be a slight exaggeration, because quite honestly, I have bad experiences all the time and I never put them on the internet, but that's because I'm a restaurant coach and I know what impact that has on your business. But the reality is this, I tell other people, I'm a Gen Xer. So I grew up in the restaurant business where it was when you had a great experience, you told 1 or 2 people. When you had a bad experience, you told 9 or 10. Well, now we tell thousands. One wrong interaction, one messed up check, one guest ignored too long, and now your restaurant's dirty laundry's hanging out there on Yelp, Google, Facebook, even TikTok now. This is the reality now. But instead of fearing it, let's build a system to prevent it. You need clear, repeatable steps of service, not just for your servers, but for your hosts, your bussers, your bartenders, and your managers. Everyone needs to know what your guest journey looks like, right? What does the perfect guest experience looks like? How do you want them to feel from flowing in the front door to sitting, having a great experience, and being welcomed back on their way out the door? What does your guest experience look like in your restaurant? And don't stop at your team. Train your managers. Train them to walk the floor, read the tables, and ask the right questions before guests leaves angry. Service recovery has to be proactive, not just reactive. When you build that kind of accountability in your DNA, you reduce bad experiences before they even happen. And you earn rave reviews without begging for them. Now, I want to share with you how implementing a system to be proactive on touching tables changed the world for one of my members, and how it drastically reduced bad reviews. Now, this is many years ago, since I've been coaching for over 22 years now. We're coming up on 23. I had a restaurant owner in the past who created a bonus system because they were so sick and tired of seeing bad reviews online because it tears up their business. They had a policy. They wanted no bad reviews, which means no guest leaves unhappy. We want to know when we screwed up. We want to know when they're in the building so we have an opportunity to fix it. And so what they did is they created a bonus. Every day there was not a bad review out on the internet, they put money into a pot. Every day that went by, they put money into a pot. No bad review, more money. The money bucket, if you will, got bigger. The ultimate goal was to learn again about every bad experience before the guest left. What happens with that money? That money became a bonus for all the employees. Like you had an opportunity that we could earn that money. In fact, they went one step further. While all employees had the opportunity for that money, they would pick one or two winners every single month out of the bucket, and they would share that bonus. Now, the problem is when there was a bad review, it was kind of like the safety ratings in big companies. As soon as there was, you see the sign that says we've had X number of days without an accident. Well, we've had X number of days without a bad review. The moment you got a bad review, that pot went to zero and we started all over again. The idea was to build this pot up, to bring everybody involved to understand that when we have an opportunity to take a guest that's had a bad experience, visceral, deep in their gut, they're pissed off. When we can turn that round into a positive experience, we've made a customer for life. We've also kept all of our dirty laundry off the internet, because we're not letting people leave our building unhappy. How about our pain point number 3? And that's hospitality does not equal jazz hands. I kind of brought that up in the beginning. You know, when I say jazz hands from the if you've watched the series Friends, where he goes to a dance class and he does jazz hands because he doesn't know how to dance. This is Joey. A lot of people think customer service is about putting on a show. Big smiles, fake energy, robotic, how's everything tasting tonight? Nonsense. That's not hospitality. True hospitality is connection. It's understanding the guest, why they came in, what they need, how they want to feel, and delivering that without them having to ask. A server who notices a couple dressed up is going to ask if they're celebrating something. It's a manager who checks in personally with a table that had a really long wait, ready to take the arrows to make sure they feel heard. It's anticipating needs before they're ever voiced. You got to teach this, practice it, and make sure your team understands that real service is about care, not charisma. Let me tell you about what great service is really about. It's about truly, again, anticipating your guests' needs in a way that allows them to focus on each other. It's about the connection with each other, not you. You don't create a wow guest experience. You allow the wow to happen because your guests never ask for a refill. It's just there. The guests, they don't stop what they're doing. They don't stop having their conversation because they got to ask for a soup spoon because the soup got delivered and there's nothing to eat it with. Because again, it was delivered. That soup spoon was delivered way before the soup was. It's guests staying engaged with each other, not looking at the dead bugs on the windowsill next to their table. Something to pull their attention away from the person they're with. It's about your guests telling each other as they walk out in the parking lot what a great time they had and that they should really come back to this place really soon. See, you allow them to maintain their connection through the whole dining experience, want for nothing, and you anticipate their needs and meet them. When they create the wow experience together, when they create that visceral bond, that they had such a great time, that you facilitated them having a great experience. That's what hospitality is about. I'll talk about more of that as we go into the next thing. Pain point number 4 is your team doesn't know what great hospitality looks like. What great looks like, for that matter. You can't just expect great service. You have to define it, model it, and coach it. If your team's never seen excellent hospitality in action, and you got to understand that many of our young people have never seen, They might just be very familiar with quick serve restaurants, especially chains that may not be at the top of hospitality. But if they've never seen it in action, how can they really deliver it? This is why I'm so big on pre-shift meetings. See, training happens every single day. Your pre-shift meeting before every shift is your opportunity to train, and a part of that should be service every single shift. They're the perfect moment to spotlight great service stories. Hey, Sally last night did this, went above and beyond for this guest, and got rave reviews. It's a great time to role play tricky situations. What do you do if somebody says the salmon tastes fishy? That was one of my favorites. You gotta be kidding me. It's an opportunity to reinforce your standards. Make service visible, right? Make it visible. Make it real. Make sure every team member knows exactly what you mean when you say, take care of the guest. Let me paint a picture for you. You've got two guests that walk up to your restaurant. Now, that means if they're going to hug each other, shake hands, whatever it may be, and pay attention to each other, that sidewalk needs to be free of any cigarette butts, no streaks of grease going in and out from dollies, no gum on the ground. The door needs to be free of fingerprints. You get the picture. Because now I'm not paying attention to anything because it's all in order. We walk in the door, and it's not me talking with the person I'm with, if I'm the guest that's walked in the door, and going, are they ever going to seat us? And we stop the conversation. I have a different conversation in my head because I'm undiagnosed ADHD. I can literally have a conversation in my head as I'm having a conversation with you. And all of a sudden I'm not fully present. And I'm looking, can somebody seat us? No, instead, we're met at the door. We're greeted with a smile. And we're asked questions. How many in your party? Because I can tell you when I travel by myself, I hate hearing just one. Yeah, I'm a frickin' loser, right? You need to teach what to ask, what not to say. It's when we're led to our table that host isn't sprinting to the damn table and I'm wondering, can we catch up? Instead, they're pacing with us, turning around and asking questions. Is it your first time here? Are you having a great day? We're creating a relationship. When they seat us, it's just throwing menus down. It is saying your server's name is. They'll be right with you. If you have any questions, I might recommend this as an appetizer, making the experience better. Now, again, it's not being waiting. You know that if you've been waiting more than 2 minutes, that internal clock, you stop paying attention to the person you're talking with and you start paying attention to time. And all of a sudden, every time these things happen and we break the connection, we're starting over. And we're making them remember all the little things that were annoyances to the guest. This goes through marking tables and making sure, again, it's a steak knife before the steak arrives. It's a soup spoon before the soup arrives. It is, more importantly, creating the relationship instead of being a robot and going, hi, my name is David. I'll be your server today. I don't care who David is. I don't know you. Instead, it's teaching your servers to look at the guests and go, that's a great bag. I love that. Chanel, oh my gosh. Oh, did you go to the zoo today? I see you've got the stuffed animals, da-da-da. Finding something to bond with, asking if it's the first time they've been here, telling them a little bit about, suggestive selling, taking their drink order, and then starting to turn away and turn back and go, wait a second, I just want to let you know, my name is David. I'll be your server today. Because now I care about you as a person. I've bonded with you. I've given you more to think about versus me, the server. Well, this experience goes throughout the whole dining experience to the point when I walk out the door is probably held for me. I'm not walking by hosts that are on their phones watching videos and ignoring me, making me feel like I'm not welcome. Instead, we're inviting them back. When I get outside and we hug each other, shake hands, whatever it may be, we talk about what a great experience we had because we wanted for nothing. We noticed nothing other than each other. And that's really what wow customer service looks like. How about pain point number 5 for today? And it's you've never actually defined guest experience standards. That's a problem. This is where it all falls apart. You say give great service. But what the hell does that mean? How fast should drink hit the table? What's the greeting at the door? How often should you check with the guest? What's your process when something goes wrong? You can't hold your team accountable for vague expectations. You got to write it down. You got to train it. You got to reinforce it. You got to live it. Because when your entire team knows exactly what great looks like, they can actually deliver it. Now, I'm going to do you a favor here, and we're just going to talk about thinking about service as a server. Okay? And what I mean by writing it all down. We're going to take a moment. We're going to go over the basics when it comes to what you should be training bare minimum on the steps of service. So what are steps of service? These are the things you want done. They're the required steps to satisfy your guests. Number 1, know your section. Servers got to know, what are my tables? Number 2, greet your table within 1 minute. I said 2 earlier, but if I can get there within a minute, even if it's a dropping cocktail napkins and saying, I'll be right with you, that they feel like they've been seen, they've heard, they're now patient. Number 3, take the drink order and write it down. Now, you may be a fine dining environment. You don't write anything down. You've got incredibly well-trained servers and they can do it all in their head. But I find in most cases, if you don't write it down, they make a mistake. Now, in today's day and age, writing it down could be the tablet at the table. Just do me a favor. Make sure your servers are not head deep into the tablet. They're looking at the guests in between entering it in, that they're truly looking at the guests, making them feel like they're there. 4, bring waters and drink orders, right? We're going to bring it there. Now, I'm going to tell you, if you're working for me, we're going to have trays. We deliver drinks. We remove things. We bring food. It's all on trays. Tray service. I do not want your fingers anywhere near the top of my glass. Step 5, you need to accurately take food orders. Write it down. And more importantly, even if you're putting it in the tablet, you need to repeat it back to each guest that they know they were heard and you've got it 100% right, because mistakes happen and mistakes are the things that piss off our guests. Step 6, you need to accurately ring that into your POS system, right? Whatever that order is, you just repeated it, make sure it's in. Now you may have the tablet and you've already got it done and you hit send, but with that send button, whether it's at the table or at a POS terminal, you've got to properly use the fire and wait buttons. Right now, I'm going to tell you, I'll be dead straight with you. I don't have fine dining experience. I do not have the experience where I've had to put an order in and say fire, but hold, meaning to understand where I want to be in the ticket. Because I was casual dining and because I'm old, we didn't have those kinds of things at our fingertips. Instead, we would pace how we entered the order. We'd write it all down and we'd put it in the appetizers, wait a while, then put in the entrees. Either way, whether you're using a fire wait button, or you're writing it down, you've got to pace your guest experience. Step 7 is mark the tables. If you know they ordered, say, a soup, you better drop a soup spoon before the soup ever gets delivered. 8, run that first course out all at once if possible. This means big trays. This means grabbing team service, that any server, food runner, busser, anybody, a manager that's in spitting distance needs to help you bring that order all at once so that it's not coming out in waves, that people are sitting at the table waiting to eat as their food gets cold, as they look and wait for a server to walk 300 feet back to the kitchen and 300 feet back, and my food is dying in front of me because I don't want to be rude. Step 9, check back within 2 minutes to make sure the guests are enjoying their food. Now, make sure you're being specific in your inquiry. It's not, is everything okay? Oh my gosh, you want to piss me off? Ask me if everything's okay. Because if I answer, yeah, it's okay, I'm telling you it sucks. The level of okay means it's okay. And you didn't spend all this time and money and effort to create this incredible experience for okay. Was your steak cooked to the perfect temperature? Is that fried rice incredible? Don't you love X? Whatever it is, be specific. Step 10, fire the next course halfway through the first course. Now, this timing varies depending on the business, because if I'm in a sports bar, I'm at brew pub, my experience levels, that family businesses, well, I got 8-minute ticket times. So it may not be halfway through. It may be sooner. It may be later. I got to read my table. Step 11, clear the first course and bring new silverware if needed. Like, you don't have to take a dirty fork and put it on the plate. Like, take it off the plate and put it, take it away. Bring some clean stuff. Make the guests feel like you care about them. Step 12, check drinks. Offer a second round. Now, this is important to me. If you've got non-alcoholic beverages, sodas, iced teas, coffees, don't even ask me. If you see it's about half full, bring a new one. Bring a new straw. Don't make me take my straw out of my damn glass and wait for me to put it in the other one and take the other drink away. I should not have to worry if I'm going to have another drink, because think of how too often you see it half full. That means there's lots of ice. There's very little fluid down there. That's 2 sips away from being, I've got drink, to, man, I'm thirsty. I wish my server would come by and get me a drink. But when it comes to alcoholic beverages, cocktails, beers, and so on, when you check back in, ask if they want another round. Step 13, mark tables again. This is now the steak knife part. This is the whatever you need. Extra napkins if chicken wings are coming out. Does not matter. Mark the table before the food or beverage gets there. Step 14, run the second course all at once. Again, bring it all at once. Tray service. Step 15, check back within 2 minutes. Listen to me, 2 minutes to make sure your guests are enjoying their food. It's the first bite inquiry. Be specific when inquiring. Again, were these things prepared to your expectation? Step 16, clear all dirty dishes and unused glasses. Now, I want to be clear here. I want to be pre-bussing throughout the whole shift. So step 16 should be happening throughout. But I don't want to be so aggressive that if I'm at a table of 4 and 3 people have finished their food, but the 4th person who's been talking is only halfway through their meal, do not take the plates. Take ancillary things, clean things up, but I don't want that guest to feel like, oh, I'm behind, I need to rush. Again, you've made themselves focus on themselves versus the 3 people they've been telling a great story to. So be very flexible and understand and teach what you mean by clearing all dirty dishes. Step 17, offer dessert menus and take a coffee order. This is all dependent on whether you want to sell desserts at that time. On a slow Monday, absolutely. On a busy Friday, maybe I don't. Step 18, fully clear the table when everyone is finished. Do not leave dirt behind, because that's all I'm going to pay attention to. Step 19, present a complete and accurate check. This is simple, but often servers screw up and wait way too long. It doesn't mean we can't drop the check and go, please, if you want anything else, I'll be right back to check on you. No rush to pay this. And finally, step 20. 20 steps of service. Listen to this. 20 steps of service. Number 20, clear and reset the table as soon as the guests leave. We don't want to leave a dirty, shitty looking table for every other table to pay attention to take their eyeballs away and wonder if somebody's going to clean it. You've got to teach and document, more importantly, your steps of service. Now, here's a bonus insight for you. I want you to make price irrelevant. This is going to go back to years and years ago, reading a book and interviewing the author. One of my favorite concepts from the book called Secret Service by author John DeJulius, who's a customer service expert, is this. He taught, with wow level customer service, you make price irrelevant. Now, let me read that again. With wow level customer service, you make price irrelevant. See, right now, people are counting every dollar, right? Inflation is through the roof. We're worried about what's going on with the economy, with the stock market, with all the things we're feeling very pressured as consumers. That means consumers are cutting back. They may still love you and give you 4.5 star reviews in Yelp, but instead of coming 4 times a month, they're coming 2 times a month. They're choosing where they spend more carefully now than ever. And if you're competing on price alone, you're going to lose. Because you could lose to a gas station. If it's about price and just food, I can go to the gas station and buy cheap food, and it's food. Instead, we want to deliver a great hospitality experience, create memories. That's what this whole podcast has been about. But if you're delivering such a powerful experience, such care, such attention, such consistency, that they feel seen every time they visit with you, they're coming back again and again because they trust you. My favorite example from John DeJulius's book, Secret Service, is, understand, he's a customer service expert, and what you don't know is a part of his original business are $100 haircut salons. This is now 20 years ago, so they're probably $150 haircuts now. Across the street, he tells the story of a $10 haircut place opening up. That's a Supercuts kind of thing, right? Great clips. Now, a typical restaurant owner, when, say, a Cheddar's comes into town, right? It's cheap food. They do millions and millions of dollars in sales. They bring people in on cheap food. It's not good. That's my one man's opinion. But the reality is an independent operator thinks, oh, I got to cut my prices. They're going to undercut me and they're going to steal my customers because we're competing on price. No, John DeJulius, when a $10 haircut place opens up across this $100 haircut place, he puts up a banner that says, we fix $15 haircuts. Why? With wow customer service, we make price irrelevant. You could be the dive bar price there. You could be priced like everybody else, or you could be at the top of the market because you deliver an incredible hospitality experience. Where do you want to position yourself? It's certainly not the dive bar. It's at least competitive with everybody else, knowing your demographic, or better yet, it is charging more than everybody else because it's worth it. Every time we come and dine with you, it's a stellar experience. It's stellar food. It's great. So here's the challenge, Restaurant Pro. Stop blaming the guests. Stop blaming your team. Start owning the experience you're delivering. Hire for values and personality first. Train to your standards. Define what great service looks like. Reinforce it every single day. And never forget, you have the power to make your restaurant unforgettable. The kind of place guests don't just enjoy, they remember. You're not just feeding people, you're leading a movement of hospitality, and I'm here to help you every step of the way. Let's make your customer service experience legendary. Ready to take the next step towards achieving restaurant prosperity, freedom from the daily grind, and the financial success you deserve? Book a discovery call with Ryan James to learn about our group coaching program. Ryan will guide you through how our program can transform your restaurant and help you achieve the prosperity and freedom you've been striving for. Click the link in the description below or visit dsp.coach/talk-to-Ryan to schedule your call now.